Post-separation abuse, is there such a thing? The UK government passed the Domestic Abuse Act 2021. Included in this act was the provision for controlling and coercive behaviour post-separation. It has been recognised that within controlling coercive behaviour there can be financial or economic abuse. Economic abuse can occur when an intimate partner has control over the other partner's access to economic resources. For example, in a situation where an individual's capacity to support themselves is sabotaged or diminished and they become trapped in a toxic abusive situation when they become wholly dependent on that partner financially. The charity Surviving Economic Abuse, SEA, explains. Economic abuse generally consists of an abuser exercising control over the survivor through denying and access to economic resources such as money and sabotaging economic resources or exploiting them so as to create economic instability and prevent a survivor from rebuilding their life safely and independently. You might now be asking, what is the punishment for financial abuse in the UK? The law has not really identified remedies or punishments for economic abuse. However, if found guilty of controlling or coercive behaviour, which includes economic abuse, the maximum penalty a judge can impose on a perpetrator is 5 years in prison. However, women can find themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place. This has been my situation of a roller coaster of events since the termination of an 11-year relationship in which I experienced various incidents that caused emotional turmoil and confusion. These incidents on their own might seem insignificant. You can ignore them, accept their fake apologies, make excuses for them, brush bad behaviour under the carpet. Maybe you can relate. Let me try to explain how an unmarried woman in a long-term relationship was left in Spain when her partner was found out having an affair with a woman in the UK. She was abandoned in the property they had shared. Her name was not on the deeds of that property. He had told her he would help her with a financial settlement. Nothing in writing. Nearly 2 years post-separation, she had found a property that she thought would be right for her, so in good faith, and she placed her own savings as a deposit. At that point, she was communicating to her ex-partner's solicitor. She was being told that the money would be transferred soon. She had already packed a lot of her personal possessions in readiness for the move. The deadline for the purchase to be completed was drawing nearer, only 4 weeks left before she was required to complete the purchase. That never happened. Her ex moved the goalposts. She lost her deposit and the property. This happened in early 2021. We actually compared notes of our legal advice, and it was much the same. Stay in the property, try to come to a financial settlement, negotiate. I was told by the lawyer at the Gender Violence Office, don't leave the property until the money is paid. So here I am, still in the property, while the ex-partner has sacked his lawyer and appointed a new lawyer based in Barcelona, who is a specialist in precarious eviction. Meanwhile, my friend's ex-partner kept on moving the goalposts. Every time she was ready to accept a settlement, another condition was added. Months passed by, and she had instructed her own legal representation with the help of her family. Like I said before, instructing a solicitor is an expensive solution, and luckily her ex came to his senses, and in April of 2022, around 3 years post-separation, he agreed to a financial settlement, and she was finally able to put a deposit on a small property in Spain and come to terms with a whole different way of life. When women escape from an abusive relationship, 1 in 4 experience continued abuse after the relationship has ended. So as you can see from this short story, women who are discarded or abandoned by a spouse or a partner, who then goes on to deny all responsibility for the situation they've created, can continue to use power and access to money to put women in a place of fear and uncertainty. manipulating and moving the goalposts. As in the cases of those women who are in cohabiting relationships, who become wholly dependent on their partners during that relationship, whose partners can move on to a new relationship quickly or have already replaced the significant person with another woman, then walk away, leaving the discarded partner emotionally and financially devastated. What does the law say in these situations? Not very much, unfortunately. When a cohabiting relationship ends, the division of property and pensions is not covered by current laws in the UK or in Spain. However, the situation in New Zealand and Australia is different. A change in the law there means that cohabiting couples have the same or similar rights and obligations as married couples. It is now time that Europe follows this lead. Well, in the UK, the Law Commission had concerns back in 2006 and published a consultation paper on cohabitation. Yet incomprehensively, despite the commissioning of various reports and surveys, nothing changed. Or nothing changed in England and Wales, because if you reside in Scotland, the Family Law Act 2006 came into force in May of that year. The Act introduced entirely new rights for cohabitants in Scotland. So when the Living Together campaign research report was written, most of those surveyed felt strongly that the law should be changed so that cohabiting couples should have more rights. The research uncovered that the majority of those questioned thought that cohabiting couples should have the same rights as married couples, especially in situations where couples had children together. 85% thought that cohabiting couples should have the same rights as married couples even when they have no children together. 90% thought that cohabiting couples should automatically have the same rights as married couples when they have children together. A high percentage of those questioned, 71%, disagreed with the statement that married couples should continue to have special status as a family unit. So since 2007, how many lives have been destroyed, or women who have been left living in poverty or reduced circumstances because of the lack of rights and obligations in law for cohabiting couples? What price is inaction?